Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your wicked awesome source for Second Amendment news. That was for you, Izzy. Hope you liked it. So let's get into what happened yesterday. The McCloskey's. They were served with a search warrant yesterday, and the rifle that Mr. McCloskey was carrying during that now infamous event in St. Louis, that was seized. The firearm that the wife, the pistol that she was holding, is supposedly in the possession of their attorney as of last night. And word is that that is a non-functioning firearm. I guess that's one way to call people's bluff. So let's get into this a little bit. As always, if you're a member of this channel and have been for a while, you understand my point of view is more of the investigator's side. Because not only am I a firearms instructor, but I've been a law enforcement officer for a very long time. And when I made that video about what happened 2 days after the incident and told you guys that from the side of the law, if they saw what they said they saw and heard what they said they heard, then their response was justified. Now, as soon as this search warrant came out, or was being served, was yesterday afternoon in St. Louis. And if you're watching, today is, I should know this without even looking at my watch, today is June 11th. It's going to be a quick-ish video because it is Mrs. Guns and Gadget's birthday today. So if I'm down here too long, hell hath no fury, gentlemen. So this search warrant happened yesterday, and right away I was getting people sending me messages, hey, look what's going on, hey, what do you think about this, hey, you were wrong. Well, I guess if somebody's right or wrong is really subjective, but again, my video was made legally speaking, and to this date, as of right now, it's 3 o'clock, 3:05 p.m. Eastern, they haven't had any criminal charges lodged against them. Now, I am in no way sticking up for the couple. I've been reading things since then, and maybe they're not the best of people. But again, the Second Amendment doesn't mention in there that you have to be a stand-up person, or you have to be your neighbor's best friend, or even have to be conservative, because they're not, all right? However, in viewing the videos that were streamed by all of the people there at the protest, there were angles that came out where people were making threats. They heard things like, you're next, or we're going to kill you and live in your home. Those guys and gals, those are threats. And with 300 to 500 people in front of your house, and certain people of them calling you out and saying they're going to kill you, that is a communicated threat. The intent is there, and the ability to carry that out is there, which would legally justify their response. So now let's dive further into that. First off, as I have re-upped my new year under the USCCA, this is exactly the scenario that having the USCCA being a member can actually help you with. So if you want to look into it, they do help the channel out. That's uscca.com/GNG. Links down below as well. But having something like that, whether you want the USCCA or any other, there's a couple of them out there that do it. Pick what's best for you, but this is the exact example of where that type of coverage comes in big. So I've read a couple articles on this, and apparently they've changed out their attorney, and their current attorney has reiterated that they have not there are no criminal charges. They just came in with a search warrant for those two particular firearms. Now, again, I'm going to talk from the investigative side, from history that I know probably a little bit of what's going on. Again, I am not in Missouri, and I do not know Missouri law like it's the back of my hand, nor did I take a Missouri law exam for this video. But generally speaking, anytime you are charged with a firearm issue, not even a crime, but brandishing, all the way up to threatening, to self-defense shooting, or flip the side to murder, your gun is going to be seized for the investigation. And even if you're found to be in the right, like the St. Louis police, after the initial investigation, said they didn't do anything wrong, they didn't violate any laws. In fact, the mob was guilty of intimidation by a mob. So even if you're found free of any criminal responsibility in a scenario, chances are the investigation is still going to happen, and they're still going to take the firearm until that investigation has seen its way through the process. Now, the Attorney General in St. Louis is super anti-gun. And the second that this happened, the comment was like, and I'm going to paraphrase because you guys, if you live there, you know the quote, but it was something like, we're not going to tolerate threatening gestures towards people practicing or exercising their First Amendment. Yep. However, when people are lodging threats from that protest, it's no longer a peaceful protest, and it's no longer covered by law. Once you make those threats and have the tool to carry out that, you have just violated a law. So, an anti-gun AG looking to try to jam these people up because right now the country's focusing on this and saying, well, wait a second. If a mob comes to my house, you mean that Second Amendment can protect me? Well, maybe I'm not so anti-gun after all. And that's the legal side of it. The legal part of this and the political side of this is that the lefties, the anti-gunners, not even lefties, 'cause I know lefties that have guns, but the anti-gunners, this scenario could shatter what their foundation is. You know, Mike Bloomberg thinks this is a bad thing, but if you mean that constitutional, that Constitution actually means something, and the Bill of Rights in there, and the right given to us by our Creator to protect ourselves, we can actually do that. So they obviously want to make this couple look as bad as possible. So no charges as of right now, and the firearms will probably be seized throughout the investigation. The AG's office is looking into it because they weren't satisfied that the local police said, hey, they didn't do anything wrong. They were facing a threat and acted accordingly. Yeah, so that's the side of the investigator. Now, could charges be drummed up against them by an anti-gun attorney general? Yeah, absolutely. But with a solid attorney, they can beat these charges relatively. I mean, I don't want to say it's easy because anytime you're defending yourself from prison, ultimately, nothing's easy. But all they got to do is subpoena all those streams from the media outlets that they were posting them on, and it could be easier to build a case that, again, your perception can never be wrong, that they perceived that they were in grave danger. So now. That's the investigator side. Now the wife's gonna get crazy. It's her birthday, so this is gonna be short. The instructor side, yeah, they did some screwed up things, and that's why you should take some training. Absolutely, but it's still too early for everybody to say, "Ha! See, I told you, gotcha." See, they had a warrant served on them. It's way too early, guys and gals. If they don't have any criminal charges filed against them, and they took the warrant just to make sure that the guns or whatever, I don't even know the laws in Missouri, but just make sure they're legal, blah, 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 even though they shouldn't be doing that. If they didn't do anything wrong, shouldn't even be touching their firearms. But ultimately, until a criminal charge has been lodged and then proven, and then on the criminal side, for those who aren't aware of how the process works, probable cause is the level in America in which you can be arrested for a crime or a potential crime, correct? And probable cause, when you're dealing with the legalities of everything and the thresholds that law enforcement need to obtain before they can do certain things, probable cause is just slightly more than mere suspicion. It's basically 51%. So if it's 51%, it's more likely than not that they broke this law, whatever it is. Could be urinating in public. If you're standing there and there's a puddle of urine next to you and it's dribbling up your leg, well, then unless somebody just, some witness says you just got peed on, like R. Kelly was hanging out with you, then it's more likely than not than you were just urinating because of what the evidence shows. You can be charged because of that. But that doesn't mean you're going to be found guilty in a court of law. Court of law is beyond reasonable doubt. So to armchair quarterback what's going on right now, because a search warrant was carried out at the house, is way too early, guys and gals. So until they're charged criminally, they're still in the good. They're still in that green zone. Just an attempt to try to get everybody to see how the legalese is going to work in this. Yeah, it's an investigation. And the Attorney General, whose office is running it, is very anti-gun, and they appoint their attorneys that work underneath them. So they're facing a bias. But as long as they have a decent lawyer, hey, guys, go get some coverage, whether it's Law Shield, USCCA, or whatever. That definitely helps along the way. And, again, it doesn't matter if these people are good people or not. We have rights. And just because a certain percentage of the country doesn't like the rights we have means diddly squat. So until we see each other again, y'all, I hope you're having a great day. It is humid as hell in here without the air conditioner on, but you can't hear me, or it sounds too much. People complain about the background noise. So hope you can appreciate the suffering I'm doing right here, sweating through my shirt. But guys, until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, carry a weapon, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.